Welcome back to our weekly market wrap-up. Domestic equity benchmarks ended the week with strong gains, boosted by easing India-Pakistan tensions, cooling inflation and timely monsoons. So stay tuned, and by the end of this video, we'll unpack the key drivers behind these gains and what lies ahead. This week, Sensex jumped 3.6%, and the Nifty 50 rose by 4.2%. The mid-cap index gained 6.9%, and the small-cap index surged 9.2%. These movements reflect positive momentum driven by easing geopolitical tensions, falling inflation, and strong investor sentiment. Let's take a look at this week's key economic updates. India's forex reserves fell by $2.1 billion to $686.1 billion for the week ended May 2nd, while foreign currency assets rose $0.5 billion. Gold reserves and other components like SDRs saw minor declines. Retail inflation eased to 3.2% in April, the lowest since July 2019, driven by declining food and personal care prices. Wholesale inflation also cooled, falling to 0.9% from 2.1% in March. Meanwhile, exports rose 12.7% YoY to $73.8 billion in April, while imports increased 15.7% to $82.50 billion, widening the trade deficit to $8.7 billion. Globally, the UK jobless rate rose to 4.5%, its highest level since August 2021, and vacancies declined for the 34th straight quarter. However, GDP grew 0.7% in Q1 2025, driven by services and production. Germany's inflation stood at 2.2% in April. In the US, headline CPI rose 2.3% YoY in April. Core CPI increased 0.2%, indicating stable inflation levels. Here are this week's top gainers. Bharat Electronics. Looted surged 18.4%, hitting a new 10-year high ahead of its board meeting on May 19th to consider audited results and final dividend. Hero MotoCorp jumped 14.3% after beating Q4 profit estimates, despite a slight dip in EBITDA margin. Adani Enterprises rose 11.8% as Adani Power ended FY25 with increased operating capacity and improved performance metrics. On the downside, among the losers, we had inducing Bank declined 5.6%, following a 674 crore discrepancy discovered in its microfinance loan book. Bharti Airtel slipped 3.2%, despite a strong Q4 performance. Power Grid Corporation fell 2.6% ahead of its board meeting on May 19th. In the unlisted space, Vikram Solar secured an order from GIPCL to supply 326.6 MW of modules for the Khavda Renewable Energy Park. Tata Capital, gearing up for its IPO, posted a 31% jump in Q4 profit to 1,000 crore. Meanwhile, CIL plans a 200 crore tech upgrade to improve its infrastructure. High-interest unlisted companies include MSEI, NSE, Apollo Green Energy, Farmiazi, CSK, NSDL, and Tata Capital. That wraps up this week's market highlights. Here's what to watch in the week ahead. Next week, markets may extend gains as strong FII-DII inflows, cooling inflation, and easing geopolitical tensions continue to lift sentiment. Hopes of rate cuts and global optimism offer further support. Crude oil softness and broad-based participation across sectors are also likely to drive momentum. Next week, key data from India include the HSBC Composite Manufacturing and Services PMI flash on Thursday, May 22nd. On Friday, May 23rd, data on bank loan growth, deposit growth, and forex reserves will offer deeper insight into the economy's momentum. Globally, China will release April's industrial production and retail sales data on Monday, May 19th. Japan's trade balance will follow on Wednesday, May 21st. US existing home sales and Japan's inflation data are due later in the week. That's all for today. Subscribe to our channel Tikona Capital for more insights and wealth-building opportunities from the themes of the decade. Explore more on tikonacapital.smallcase.com to know more. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. See you next week.